this Cowboy defense, 19 games with at least 15 pressures since Dan Quinn became their defensive coordinator in 2021. That's 4 more than anyone else. Tough to beat in that situation now. 17-2 when generating at least 15 pressures over that span. It is just about midnight East Coast time. That means it's 9 o'clock out here in California. And it's beautiful out here, isn't it?
Man, right now it's breezy in here. You know, we're getting some of that Southern California weather. And then we got to go back to the East Coast.
Every time I come to this part of the world, I think, why do I live where I live, right? I mean, it's fantastic out here. Ryan Clark alongside. And so much in this game was about how they would respond based on last week, okay? And also, there was a lot of questions about how might they would respond when they got into the red zone, because that is not an area where they've been buttoned up, have not been clean. What did Dak do once they got in that scoring area tonight?
I think the biggest thing was Dak was decisive. The execution between Dak Prescott and his wide receivers hadn't been pristine in the red zone through the last few games, and he took a lot of heat for it. Tonight, he was perfect in the red zone. He made the plays with his legs, as we saw on the zone read. And then on that drive, steps up in the pocket, hits CeeDee Lamb, and the perfectly laid pass and time pass to Brandon Cooks.
In all the years we've been talking, there's a lot of ways that sort of I look at what the NFL often is, and I typically use the term coin flip league, right? You got to figure out how to win coin flip games. The Chargers, they actually won more games last year that were close than people realize, but they continue to come up short in these 3-point games. They lose this one. Now it's a home game. On the schedule, but it wasn't. This building is what percent? I don't know.
75% Dallas.
Minimum. Minimum. And I wonder, at some point in these close games, when you're playing a road game at home, I mean, it's hard enough in this league without having something that you can lean on. He's signing children over here, by the way.
He can be the governor of Texas if he wanted to.
Yeah, he could run for the mayor of this building right now. Mike is signing children. But, I mean, that just speaks to what we're talking about. And you tell me, maybe I'm making more of this because you've done it, where it's like, look, we're pros, we'll figure it out. But I would think that if you're the Chargers and you're looking around, you're like, man, this place is going bananas for the Cowboys defense when the Chargers have the football.
It was the same exact way when you played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. These historically great organizations that won championships in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, they have these huge fan bases, and the Dallas Cowboys fans took over this stadium. And I believe it helped the defense step up when you needed to in the 2-minute drill. Listen, they were asking for Michael Parsons. He comes up with the big sack. And it seemed that Justin Herbert was a little bit flustered. And then you have to think, you can't hear your sidelines. You can't hear Kellen Moore. You're a team that has to go on silent count at home. So now Michael Parsons is able to tee off and get off of the football before your offensive linemen do. The way that this team travels matters, but your play has to travel as well. And that's the thing the Dallas Cowboys did tonight.
Fair point. And look, at some point the Chargers have to make winning plays. But coming out of that 2-minute warning, you and I are standing next to each other on the sidelines. You can feel it. Parsons gets home. Herbert is a little bit maybe shook after that. He gets under pressure, and Gilmore gets the pick. It's 2 plays, and they ultimately put this game to bed.
And another thing, too, Scott, you mentioned how many close games the Chargers won last year. Eventually, your luck runs out. We're seeing it now with the Minnesota Vikings, who won 11 one-score games last year, and now the Los Angeles Chargers, my boy, great game, Micah. Now the Los Angeles Chargers are dealing with the same thing. You put yourself in that position over and over again, and you're going to fail, especially when you're playing people as talented as number 11, Michael Parsons, and 21, Stephon Gilmore.
Cowboys earn this victory. Ryan, appreciate the time.